Once upon a time, Nokia was untouchable. If you owned a phone in the early 2000s, chances are it was a Nokia. The brand meant power, durability, and trust, a global symbol of mobile success. But then, almost overnight, it vanished. How did a company that sold over 40% of the world's phones lose everything within a few short years? Was it arrogance, bad timing, or just bad luck? Today, we're uncovering the story of how Nokia, the king of mobile phones, lost its throne to iPhone and Android. Section 1. The Age of Nokia, late 1990s, 2006. In the early 2000s, Nokia was the mobile industry. Models like the Nokia 3310 and 6600 became cultural icons. Their batteries lasted for days, the build quality was legendary, and the snake game was practically a religion. By 2007, Nokia controlled more than half the global smartphone market. Its Symbian operating system powered millions of devices. The company was based in Finland, but its reach was global, from New York to Nairobi. But while the world was obsessed with ringtones and text messages, something was quietly brewing in California. Question for audience: did you ever own a Nokia phone? Which model was your favorite? The brick 3310 or the camera-equipped N70? Section 2, the iPhone Shockwave, 2007. Then came January 9th, 2007. Steve Jobs walked onto a stage and said, "Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone." The iPhone didn't have a keypad. It had a touchscreen, something Nokia engineers dismissed as a fad. Jobs' vision was clear. A phone that wasn't just a phone, but a pocket computer. At first, Nokia executives weren't scared. They laughed it off, saying, "People don't want to type on glass." But the iPhone wasn't just about design. It introduced a completely new experience. Multi-touch gestures, full internet browsing, and later, the App Store. Within 2 years, the world started shifting. Customers wanted smarter, simpler, and smoother devices. Nokia, meanwhile, was still shipping phones with clunky menus and resistive touchscreens. Question for audience: if you had seen the first iPhone in 2007, would you have believed it could destroy a giant like Nokia? Section 3. The Symbian Trap. At the heart of Nokia's downfall was its software. Symbian OS had been reliable for years, but it wasn't built for the new touchscreen era. It was designed for keypads, not swipes. When the iPhone and Android appeared, Nokia tried to retrofit Symbian, but it was like trying to turn a bicycle into a spaceship. Apps crashed, updates were slow, and developers found it impossible to work with. Meanwhile, Google launched Android in 2008, a free open-source OS that phone makers like Samsung, HTC, and LG could customize. It exploded instantly. Developers loved it. Consumers loved the freedom. Nokia was suddenly stuck, neither willing to adopt Android nor able to modernize Symbian. In 2010, internal Nokia memos described their situation as a burning platform. The phrase came from then CEO Stephen Elop, who admitted the company was standing on a burning oil rig, and they had to jump to survive. Question for audience: do you think Nokia should have switched to Android earlier? Would that have saved them? Section 4. The Windows Phone Gamble, 2011-2014. In a desperate bid to stay relevant, Nokia struck a deal with Microsoft in 2011. Together, they would build Windows phones, sleek devices powered by Microsoft's software. It sounded like a fresh start, but there was a problem. No one wanted them. Developers weren't interested in building apps for a system with so few users. Customers found the interface unfamiliar, and retailers were still pushing iPhones and Androids. To make things worse, the partnership made Nokia dependent on Microsoft's slow decisions. Every update had to go through multiple corporate layers. By the time Nokia released its stunning Lumia phones with incredible cameras, the market had already moved on. Sales plummeted. By 2013, Nokia's mobile market share had dropped below 5%. Eventually, Microsoft acquired Nokia's phone division in 2014 for just $7.2 billion, a fraction of its former worth. Question for audience. Do you think the Windows Phone could have succeeded if it launched a few years earlier? Section 5. What really went wrong? Looking back, Nokia's fall wasn't just about missing the touchscreen trend. It was about culture and speed. Inside Nokia, there were layers of management, endless approvals, and a fear of risk. Engineers warned executives that Symbian couldn't compete, but leaders didn't listen. They feared losing their existing success more than they feared losing the future. Apple and Google, meanwhile, moved fast, tested ideas publicly, and improved through updates. Nokia's innovation cycle was slow, and their communication chaotic. By the time they adapted, the smartphone race was already decided. It's the classic story of a giant blinded by its own success. A company that built the future of mobile phones, but couldn't adapt to the next one. Question for audience. Do you think big companies today, like Apple or Samsung, could ever make the same mistake Nokia did? Section 6. The legacy lives on. Even though Nokia's phone empire collapsed, its legacy is far from dead. Today, Nokia exists as a network and telecom giant, powering 5G infrastructure around the world. And fun fact, the brand name Nokia still lives on in smartphones made by HMD Global, a Finnish company founded by former Nokia employees. While these phones don't dominate like before, they carry the same spirit of durability and simplicity. So yes, Nokia may have lost the smartphone war, but it taught the world one of the most valuable lessons in business. If you stop innovating, someone else will. Question for audience. Would you still buy a modern Nokia phone if it ran on Android today? Closing and call to action. So, now you know, Nokia didn't die because it made bad phones. It died because it failed to see that the game had changed. The world moved from hardware to software, and Nokia stayed stuck in the past. The iPhone redefined what a phone could be, and Android gave everyone else the freedom to follow. Nokia, the once invincible giant, simply couldn't keep up. Now tell me in the comments, which phone brand do you think could be the next Nokia? And if you enjoyed this deep dive into tech history, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about how technology changed the world and the companies that couldn't keep up.